These bugs are basically giant, scary, screeching flies. Welcome to Bug of the Week Part 15, brought to you by Little Dude's Insect Academy. And if you're new here, consider subscribing, dropping a like as always, and without further ado, let's just jump right into this episode. I don't really have any other announcements to make. These bizarre bugs, cicadas, make up the insect family of Cicadidae, which contains about 3,000 species of cicada. Individuals can measure vastly different depending on species, anywhere from 0.8 inches to 6 inches in length, so they can get quite big. Cicadas can be found in many continents, including Europe, Asia, North, and South America, and belonging to the order of Hemiptera, that makes them true bugs, meaning they have piercing and sucking mouthparts, both as nymphs and adults, which I'll get into in just a second. They have a set of extremely keen compound eyes as well as simple eyes, paired with small, wire-like antennae. Cicadas are also equipped with 2 pairs of translucent veined rice paper-like wings, kind of like a fly. One of the cicada's most well-known characteristics is their iconic call. In order to attract a mate, the male has a pair of circular ribbed membranes on the side of his abdomen. By contracting a tymbal muscle, he causes the segment to bend, producing a clicking sound. The tymbal then springs back when the muscle is relaxed. If you've ever been in an area where these insects are present, you could probably annoyingly say that they call literally 24/7. The song of the cicada can reach up to 90 decibels, which is approximately the same level as a lawnmower. Now let's get into one of the most fascinating things about the cicada, their life cycle. Cicadas are born as nymphs, where they live underground, feeding on decaying roots of plants and trees. And during this time, groups of cicadas dig intricate tunnels underground until they are matured enough to emerge from the ground. The cicada nymphs then molt, where they then sprout their adult wings and coloration. And as adults, cicadas don't live as long, only a few weeks, where the males can call to the females, they mate, lay eggs, die, and then the process repeats itself all over again. Now, although most cicadas reproduce this way, one species in particular does the same thing, but on a much larger scale. This is the periodical cicada, or Magicicada septendicum, which is a medium-sized cicada native to the southern and southwestern states of the United States. These cicadas have the same life cycle as an average cicada, but emerge in the millions. Now, periodical cicadas are actually one of the oldest living insects, and depending on their location and their generational group, they live as larvae and emerge at a different time. One group, for example, lives underground for 13 years, another 17 years, another 19 years, and at once, all the nymphs dig to the surface and begin to swarm in the millions. Now, over the course of 2 to 3 weeks, these massive swarms of cicadas mate, lay eggs, die, and start the timer all over again. Now, another fascinating thing is the huge role that these insects have had in history and culture over the years. During the times of ancient Greece, the cicada was considered sacred to the gods Apollo and Dionysus, and the Greek philosopher Plato also associated them to the daughters of Zeus, the Muses, for their often rhythmic song. In many other cultures all around the world, cicadas have been considered a symbol of resurrection, being seemingly gone for decades, only to return from the ground. They have also represented personal change, renewal, rebirth, and transformation in many other cultures. Now, if you liked this episode, please consider dropping a like, subscribing, and maybe even sharing this episode with one of your friends or family who might enjoy it. But I really love the cicadas. They're super cool. I have a bunch in my collection, both periodical cicadas and other species. They come in these crazy colors too, like some are green, some are blue, super cool. Some are red. They're just the most bizarre bug. They're essentially, when I'm explaining it to somebody, I'm like, yeah, they're basically a giant fly. And that's that's oversimplifying it, but that's kind of what they look like. They look like giant flies, and that's what most people would associate them with. So if you're from the Midwestern states, you definitely know these guys. Growing up, I'm sure you had a few swarms that came out and like this massive purring noise that would come out of the trees all the time. Just surround your life all the time. Some of these swarms get so huge that people start, eating them, like frying them, and crazy stuff. But yeah, if you enjoyed this episode, I hope you did. And with that, I will see you all next week, and keep on bugging.